In today's video, every team that won in the first week of the season will be able to steal a player from the team they beat. There will be 15 teams that will get better, 15 teams that will get worse. It would have been 16, but the Colts and Texans decided to tie. That preseason hype for the Bills is actually looking viable, man. They absolutely dominated the Rams 31-10, and now they have Donald and Vaughn back on the same D-line. The Eagles barely survived against the much improved Detroit Lions, and now arguably the best O-line in football gets even better. They steal Frank Ragnow from them. A last-second field goal helped famous Jameis and the Saints get the dub against the Falcons, and now he has a shiny new target to throw to. Kyle Pitts is their new tight end. Not too many people gave Fields and the Bears a chance in week 1, but they got it done against the Niners 19-10. They still George Kittle in one of the sloppiest games of the season so far. The Steelers and Bengals was absolutely insane, but Pittsburgh is gonna have a brand new quarterback. He didn't have the best performance, but he's still Joe Burr, and we're gonna see how he does on the Steelers. The Dolphins end up beating the Patriots 20-7 in week 1. They needed help on the O-line, so they went with center David Andrews. I'll be the first to admit I was wrong. Okay, I said Lamar had no help at wide receiver. Bateman had a touchdown. Duvernay had 2 tutties, but they still added somebody on the offensive end from the Jets. They take Laken Tomlinson, the left guard. Wentz to Jahan Dotson for the game winner over the Jaguars 28-22. So they're set at wide receiver. However, their O-line needed help. They take Brandon Scherf from Jacksonville. The Browns beat Baker and the Panthers, and on almost any other team they would take CMC, but you already have 98 Chubb, so they ended up going elsewhere. Brian Burns is the new teammate of Myles Garrett. The Giants get the dub against the Titans. In real life, would they probably go elsewhere? Maybe, but to help them win in Madden, they had to get Derrick Henry. Saquon's a third down running back. He'll still get playing time. Jay Jettas and the Vikings get the dub against the Packers. They almost went with Rodgers. They also almost went with Jair, but David Bakhtiari is the Vikings' new left tackle. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are looking dominant. 5 touchdowns in their drubbing of Arizona 44-21, and he has a brand new wide receiver one, DeAndre Nuke Hopkins. The Chargers beat the Raiders in week number 1. 2 good teams going at it, but LA is actually going to upgrade their offense. No, their wide receivers are just already nasty. Same with the running backs and quarterbacks. Tight ends, however, they needed some help. Darren Waller is here to save the day. Brady and the Bucks take care of the Cowboys, and it's his defense, more specifically the best linebacker core in football now, with Micah Parsons at a right outside linebacker. Last but not least, Geno Smith, man, what a performance against the Broncos to get the W. Now granted, there is some mishaps on the goal line by Denver. They low-key gave that game away, but now they're gonna give away their quarterback. Russell Wilson is back in Seattle. As we sim to the Super Bowl, you guys let me know if we should make this a series. How about something crazy like 2,500 likes, and we'll come back with it next week. If not, it's cool. It's a one-time thing. Donald and the Bills go 14-3. Chargers end up with the 2 seed. You have the Browns, Chiefs, Steelers, Patriots, and Colts. The Ravens and the Dolphins are the only 2 teams that won in week 1 that didn't make the playoffs. Panthers still get the 1 seed even though they lost Brian Burns. Saints end up with the 2 seed. Eagles, Commanders, Packers, Bucks, and Cardinals. Giants go 10-7 and missed the playoffs. Them, the Bears, Seahawks, and Vikings are the teams that won in week 1 but didn't make the postseason. 21.5 sacks for Aaron Donald, 13.5 for Vaughn. Only 2 sacks given up by Ragnow on the Eagles. Pitts had 0 touchdowns for the Saints. That's kind of shocking. Meanwhile, Kittle had 5 for Chicago. Joey B had a solid season in Pittsburgh, 38 touchdowns, only 12 picks. Only 4 sacks given up for David Andrews on over 1,200 snaps. Only 2 sacks given up for Laken Tomlinson in Baltimore, and 1 sack was given up by Brandon Scherf back in Washington. Burns ends up 3rd on the Browns with only 2.5 sacks. They had a nice 1-2 punch in New York, 8 touchdowns and 500 yards for Saquon, almost 1,500 yards for Derrick Henry though, 22 touchdowns as well. Bakhtiari gave up 4 sacks on the season. Nuke Hopkins had a 1,000-yard season in Kansas City. Waller had a 1,000-yard season in LA. Parsons was 2nd on the Bucks picks and sacks, 12.5. And Russell Wilson was back to doing his thing in Seattle. Here are all the stat leaders real quick. Of course, Brady at the top. East with almost 5,000 yards on the Broncos. The backup stepped up. Josh Allen leads everybody with 45 touchdowns, only 9 INTs. Baker had a good season. Alvin Kamara on the Saints leads everybody in rushing yards. The typical guys are in the top 10. Chubb is too shy of the rushing touchdowns record. Henry was right behind him, second in the league. Cooper Kupp with another triple crown. Just an absolutely dominant season for him. And then Donald on his new team leads the entire league in sacks. Allen wins MVP. Brady was right there. Hurts was in third. But it's Waller and the Chargers against the Cardinals, who lost Nuke Hopkins. Somehow they still made it to the Super Bowl. You know what? I'm glad a team like Arizona made it, because this should show you that if your team lost in week 1, it's only 1 week. Now, granted, they're losing pretty badly right now in the Super Bowl, but there's still plenty of time. But yeah, teams like the Packers, who got destroyed last year in week 1, ended up with the 1 seed in the NFC. Rodgers won MVP, so do not panic just yet. Connor gets the Cardinals the first down. They're only down 3. As soon as I called them out for getting blown out, here they come with a chance to take the lead on this drive. Another handoff. Connor not getting much. Only 25 yards on 10 carries. Cards running game not looking so hot. Kyler, though, he's throwing lasers to AJ Green. Shotgun for the Cardinals on 3rd down and 8. Kyler throws a bullet to Marquise Brown. James Conner fumbles on the very next play. And now we have the biggest play of the game. 3rd down and 1 for Los Angeles. They get this first. It's a G.G. Eckler fighting his way past the sticks. And the Chargers are the winners of this experiment after stealing Darren Waller from Las Vegas. If you guys enjoyed it, you know what to do. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And if we get enough likes, there will be a part 2. Bars.